This is me, MC Gamer, and welcome to but another episode of Hyrule Academy, right here on Radio Hyrule. This is a wonderful show right here on the interweb where we talk about Zelda fan theories and lore and discuss what's happening inside the world of Zelda. We don't do much of that. We discuss fan theories and lore, and we listen to some great music. Of course, if you're joining us after the fact, you may be listening on the YouTube recording, and that's okay. You're just not going to hear any of the awesome music, but I hope you indulge me when I give credit to some of the amazing artists that made some of the music that we've listened to every evening. For example, that first song we heard this evening was the Song of Storm's metal cover by Nate Wants to Battle, and that was suggested to us by Latios. And I gave Latios a little bit of flack because Song of Storm metal covers aren't really a rarity on the internet. But that's okay. It was still a good arrangement, and many strong, happy words to Nate Wants to Battle. I hope you continue doing amazing things with your music. That being said, we have quite the mix tonight, and I hope you're very excited for that. And be sure to tune into the show every Friday at 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. It does go up on YouTube afterwards, but the live experience, what it really is here for. We have 42 people, a wonderful number, chilling out inside our Radio Hyrule chat at the time of me talking. So I hope you guys are excited to join me as we discuss another fantastic piece of Zelda lore. For example, today we're going to be talking about something called the Resistance. Now, this actually might be something that a lot of you might not know about, because the Resistance is a name that we never actually heard of inside the games. But they're a group dedicated to restoring peace in Hyrule throughout the events of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. There are a few members that we know of. There's Aru, Ahe, Russell, Shad, and Telma. Pronunciation on that may be a little bit wrong. Nintendo needs to do more voice acting in games like they did with Hyrule Warriors, Zant, Twily. It's a whole new world with these pronunciations. Also, it is Fi. Just saying. Anyways, so these members of this group, they're a little bit mean towards Link. Actually, when Link wanders up to Telma's bar and says, "Hey, I'm trying to save Hyrule," they're like, "Excuse me, who are you? Dressing up like the hero? I see. You're kind of a joker." However, somehow he gets the Master Sword, and suddenly they love him, and they do even apologize to him eventually. Not very quickly. They take a little bit. They're a little salty still, as it were. Now, they do a little bit of research, however, throughout the events of Twilight Princess. For example, Ashe, I don't know how you pronounce that name. Ashe, they research Snow Peak, and Shad researches the Uka people, and Russell researches the Sacred Grove. And you see those people do some stuff throughout the game. And they do help Link in his last fight before Ganondorf. They show up in Hyrule Castle, and they take out some of the enemies that were surrounding Link, and surely not going to take him out. Do you know why they weren't going to take him out? Because he's Link, and he could defeat them, because he has a sword. That's the Blade of Evil's Bane. But they helped, and they did a lot of work, and I'm very proud of them. Afterwards, they are seen during the end credits exploring the Sacred Grove, following Hyrule being saved. However, Telma and Russell do continue their lives. Russell goes back to take care of his children, and Telma has a bar to run, and people need a drink in Hyrule after a hearty celebration for the defeat of Ganondorf in Hyrule. Now, I got some questions for you guys inside the audience tonight, because, as you know, all this knowledge is fun and great, but we gotta fill in the gaps. We need to think more about this group called the Resistance. First of all, we see them doing a lot of work inside Snow Peak, researching the Ukas, and going to the Sacred Grove. What are they doing? What is their plan to restore peace with Hyrule in these locations? You gotta give me the information. Are they actually interested inside the Mirror Twilight as well? How do they know about this? Give me some answers. Also, after the conclusion of the game, Hyrule is saved. Why are they inside the Sacred Grove? What the heck are they doing in there? Are they gonna take the Master Sword? Is Shad gonna be the new hero of time? I doubt it, but if you want to make a crazy fan theory, I want to hear it in the chat tonight. Discuss these questions, or ask your own if you want to post some words to me over at radiohyrule.com/chatroom, and we will feature your messages later on inside the show. However, guys, things are going great inside our world, but we gotta listen to some music now. We gotta chill, take a step back, start discussing, and I got some great tunes to underscore our discussions tonight inside the chat. So, sit back, relax, get typing, maybe lean forward, because lean forward, stop leaning back. We got work to do. This is a classroom, not a lounge. See you guys in just a few. Welcome back to Hyrule Academy, everybody, on this fantastic Friday evening. I hope everybody's been having a fun time in the chat. I see we're having a little bit of a slow start tonight. We're having a little bit of a slow start inside the chat. Everybody's kind of just laying down the background info. I'm hoping during the second half of tonight's discussions, we can really pick it up and roll with these theories. So I see like sparks of theories. Now we got to take these sparks and make them fire. What were you just listening to? Well, two wonderful songs from the brand new album, Harmony of Heroes. It's a wonderful album full of music all across Nintendo's entire expansive history of video games. It's dedicated to kind of being about Smash Brothers. Like it's saying, hey, Smash Brothers is all these Nintendo franchises, so is our album. And it does have some Smash Brothers music as well. Much love to Zach for saying, hey, I want to hear some Harmony of the Heroes. I've been listening to it myself, and I was like, yes, you have your wish, Zach. Granted, 2 songs, Mirror of Twilight by Sean Haberman first, and then followed up by Sam Dillard's Dark Horizons, which was a wonderful remix of The Dark World, and a few other little Zelda themes and diddlies thrown in there just for good measure. Now, I have a guest tonight. I'm so excited, as always, to bring on the wonderful Great Scott LP. Hi, Scott.
Hello, MC. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, I said, you know how I'm doing. You've been with me all day.
We've been talking all day long.
And we've been playing Smash Brothers.
So much Smash.
Did you enjoy that Harmony of Heroes?
I did. It's quite good. I've been really surprised with that album since we've been listening to it.
Yeah, we've only listened to a few songs, but so far you've been enjoying.
Oh yeah, it's been quite good.
It's also been getting us humming the songs quite a bit today. I've heard like a lot of all throughout the house today.
I may have been doing that in the shower earlier.
Really?
Yes.
I'm so proud of you. I sing Zelda in the shower too. Let's not do it together. So,
no.
Some things are just not meant to be shared between Zelda fans.
No.
We can sing out of the shower together. Okay, moving swiftly along into our discussions this evening, Scott. So, you've been listening about the Resistance. Now,
yes.
Did you know the term the Resistance wasn't actually ever used in the games?
No, I did not know that beforehand.
No,
so.
Yeah, it's the first instance of them actually using the term the Resistance to refer to this group was actually on the trading card set that there was Twilight Princess trading cards.
See, I didn't even know there was a trading card set.
I don't know if it was a trading card game. Like, I don't know if you... I play my Zelda in defense position.
I would like to summon 5 Ganondorfs.
Oh, you do not have enough Triforce shards to do that. Illegal. Illegal. It's illegal, you know. Anyway, sorry. I'm going on a tangent. However, it was later used just to double confirm the canon inside Hyrule Historia, which is the Bible. No. It is the big textbook that we follow here on the show, and it does some great work in saying, yes, it was called the Resistance. Now, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if there was a leader to the Resistance?
If I had to make a guess based on my playing of the game, I would have to say that it's Telma.
Are you sure it's Telma?
Well, there is something that suggests that perhaps she is allowed to think she is the leader.
And what's that?
Well, based on a conversation that you have with another character who we have not mentioned up to this point, when you are as Wolf Link and you have a conversation subsequently with Luis the cat, you kind of get the impression that perhaps Luis has a bigger role behind the scenes than you would imagine.
Wait. So is she up in the rafters, like knocking like barrels onto their heads to hopefully, like, it's like, oh my God, please wake up, come on.
Yeah, but it's interesting because it's definitely, you know, more kind of end game content, I guess, because after you're done talking to Luis, you have to go back later in order to get that conversation. So it's not part of the main storyline per se in terms of the goals that you have to get within the game. Right. So it's interesting extra lore.
That Luis is not only considers herself a member, but she is a high-ranking official in this organization. However, I must shut you down a little bit with the Twilight Princess trading cards because I believe in the heart of the cards, and the heart of the cards tell me that Telma is the leader. Actually, they actually pretty much outright said that she is the leader of the Resistance, which is interesting to me. Although the cat is also a strong member, I'm sure. I concede that to you. The cat is very strong in this organization. However, Telma is the leader, and she's organizing things. You know, she always, of course, brings them all into the bar. Now, just a little bit off the grid here. What off the grid? That's not the term I meant to use at all. So what are your thoughts on this resistance? Like what could they be doing, going to all these locations across Hyrule, to kind of like figure this out? You know, how are they restoring peace? Do you have any theories?
Well, it's pretty clear that Link is like the wild card to their plan. He just kind of comes out of left field and is like, "Whoa, hey, here I am!"
Yeah.
Because when you first stumble upon them, you definitely see them in action already. They're
like
trying
they're looking at their map.
Yep.
They're pointing things out.
They're coming up with objectives and things that they need to get done in order to take down Zant and his evilness. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of interesting because it's like it's the first instance that you see of that sort of thing in a Zelda game, where before
people are already doing things before you get there.
Yeah, so it's really great from a story narrative point of view, because like I said, you know, you don't get that in a Zelda game up to that point where you have like this extra force that's battling against the forces of evil, as opposed to just Link going around and doing stuff.
Now, the question I have for you is: do you think that when they go to when you see them later in the game and they're all spread out across Hyrule doing their own things, or do they have a purpose in what they're doing? Or do they have do they have a heading with this, or at that point are they just kind of there to support Link? Like have they given up? Because isn't around that time after he's gone the Master Sword, and they're kind of like, oh, this guy is kind of the hero. But
I think the impression that I got the very first time I played through Twilight Princess was that they were attempting to find the Master Sword, of course. So, once Link is like, hey, guess what I got? They're like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's step one complete, so we might as well continue going along with him, right?
Yeah, so, and then they start to randomly appear at all these locations related to the Mirror of Twilight.
Yep. So, so definitely, I think at first their goal is to do everything on their own, and then they kind of figure out that Link's legit, and they just start helping him out as they go along.
That's a good theory, although we have some other theories. Brewing in the chat room tonight.
Well, let's see what they have to say.
Well, we're going to have to do that a little bit, because they're still brewing. Like, they're still cooking.
They're cooking.
Yeah, the oven's been preheated during our first section. Now we put the chicken in the oven. Gosh, I want some chicken.
We're cooking together something good, and the theory is becoming more pure.
And the purity of our theories will be 97% tonight, or else, chat. Get to work at radiohyrule.com/chatroom. This is Hyrule Academy every week, right here on Radio Hyrule. Let's listen to some more music. See you guys in just a few. Welcome back, my good fellows and friends, my good people, to the wonderful land of Hyrule Academy. Every single week right here on RadioHyrule.com. Every Friday, 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Fun times are about, Mr. Sky. Did you enjoy the tunes?
I very much did. Jazz is the best.
You heard a little bit of jazz, and of course a little bit of Theophany first. We heard a little bit of Clocktown by Theophany, and that was a request coming to us from Westifer. Westifer, a big fan of that Time's End album that everybody adores. Lots of good Majora's Mask music out there. Theophany also contributed to that previous album we were talking about, why do I call it Warriors? It's not Harmony of Heroes. I was going to say Wumbo of Warriors. Harmony of Heroes is what I meant to say.
Banjo-Kazooie now, apparently.
Mumbo, Jumbo. And after that, we did hear some Dark World Jazz by Gux.
Thank you, Gux.
Thank you, Gux. And that was a request from Toon Wolf Link, and I had a lot of nostalgia for that because its inclusion in the wonderful fan film Legend of Link. I'm planning on having a movie night here soon, so check my Twitter for more information. That's at SuperMCGamer. We're going to be watching that movie, so enjoy that. However, we have some discussions to get to. Let's stop talking about this stupid movie that I love more than every other movie in existence, and start talking about the Resistance. So the chat has been all a titter with words and things, and we have some theories, and I'd like to read them to you, Scott, and get your thoughts on some of them.
Yeah, let's dive in, shall we?
Dive in. So first of all, I'm going to give you guys two very nice explanations, like summaries of what the Resistance is and what their overall mission is. First up, from Vapor's Flame, they say, I have a feeling the goal of the resistance was to depose Zant. The people of Hyrule must have known that he attacked the castle and Zelda had surrendered to him. It's not exactly an easy thing to hide when the castle's in the middle of town. And Hyrule's final hope gives me a nice metaphor. I love me some metaphors, so here we go. The Resistance always struck me as a charitable group, for lack of a better term. I doubt their goal from the start was to reform the mirror. They were merely doing what needed to be done at the time. If Hyrule was suffering from a lack of pizza, they probably would have worked out a contract with Papa John's. So,
okay, yeah.
What do you feel? Are you feeling that, like, what do you feel they're this like charitable group that's like always been around, or do you feel like they're more militaristic and they have a mission to take down Zant, reform the mirror and stuff? What do you think about that?
I don't think they had a clear idea in the very beginning, but they were people who came together in secret and said something must be done. Yeah, that's my feeling. Very much like the French resistance during World War II. And, everybody gives the French crap about World War II. They were actually pretty heroic in their efforts to what's the word I'm looking for? To resist Hitler. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's kind of similar in my mind. These are the good people who are men and women of action who came together and said we must do something, and that's why when you first see them, they come in and they're strategizing and coming up with a plan of what they're going to be doing.
Exactly. However, at the same time, I feel like after the events of Twilight Princess, you see a couple of them still sticking around. Of course, Telma's working back at her bar. Russell has to go home. He has to attend the farms and the kids and everything. But I think that the other members, while we see them investing in the Sacred Grove, it's very plausible that maybe they did become something like a charitable organization. Maybe they're working on that Papa John's contract. It's like, hey, we defeated Ganondorf. We need celebration. And they're like, we're on it.
Papa John's is on the case.
It might be in the Temple of Time, might be in the past. We're going to find it. I don't know. Hey, there's a theory for you. Take it. You want a theory? There you go.
You heard it here first, guys. Papa John's is canon.
And it's in the Temple of Time.
Go get it.
Somebody go find the hidden texture. You look behind a wall inside the Temple of Time and Ocarina Time, and there's just Mr. John, Papa John himself, just standing there. And you talk.
Peyton Manning.
And he's like, you've done well on your journeys. You deserve a treat.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine Peyton Manning dressed as Link in a stupid Papa John's commercial? I am so sorry for that visual image.
Every hero needs a good meal before going on journeys in Hyrule. All right, let's move on. Captain Trina is giving us some information about the members of the Resistance. So apparently, according to the Prima official strategy guide, gave some description about some of the characters. For example, Shad, who investigates the Uka people, apparently he's a handsome city boy with glasses. When Shad was a child, his father, who was a butler with the royal family, told him a tale about a city floating in the sky. And so, and that's where we go into theorizing. It's obvious that he probably was like, wait a minute, there's a city in the sky? I want to go to there. And so when you see him...
I must investigate.
Yeah. When the Resistance got around to it, it was obviously natural for him to be like, hey, I've been actually looking into this for a while. Could this possibly help us? And they might have been like, Shad, we've heard you talk about the sky every day you've come in this bar. We're sick and tired of it.
You come in here raving about sky people.
Get out. And then all of a sudden he's like making cannons, Dominion rods, and everybody. And but the rest of the Resistance is like,
Zant's government keeps denying the existence of sky people, but I know they're up there.
The conspiracy theories are real. It's a fun time to be Shad. He's out there. He's got the glass. I want the glass to be swirly glasses.
Yes.
They're sky people, and if you use the Dominion rod, you can access.
No, swirly glasses. You're incorrect. There are no sky people. Anyway.
Aru used to be the royal family's tutor. And
all these connections.
Then he retired and kept his distance away from the family. So apparently, so he was inside the royal family. He was maybe teaching Zelda her ABCs. A, B, C, sky people. And then they were like, get out of here. You know what? I don't want to take this. I retire. And then he keeps his distance. He's like, I don't need to deal with this. So I don't know. He seems to be a knowledgeable person then, which is interesting to me. Then we have Ashe. Her father was a soldier, for the Hyrule royal family. But he left the kingdom due to trouble with a superior.
Oh.
So he had some sort of clash in there, and they left. And apparently Ashe grew up inside the mountains. And obviously we see Ashe later investigating the mountains, so that would make sense. Captain Trina says, given these connections, it's not unreasonable to think that the group would be more attuned to the fact that there's something wrong in Hyrule, because 3 of them have direct connection to the royal family. Butler, tutor, and used to have a soldier, and it's like, who apparently had trouble with a spear. I don't know how close you are now, but, that's interesting to think. Do you have any thoughts on that before we move on?
No, I think it's a good backstory for all the people who came together.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
The game.
Yeah,
it's like,
makes sense.
It's like the Prima strategy guy gives us, but
everything I always say about Twilight Princess, I love everything about it except playing the game.
I know, it's so weird. It's just like there's some. I don't know. But sorry, based opinions. I love you, Twilight Princess. You're still in there. You're still a great Zelda game. I know you are. Captain Trina also says, at least we know that Russell didn't start investigating anything until after the attack on Ordon. So Russell joins the Resistance later on, after Ordon is attacked by all the monsters. And so it's reasonable to think that the Resistance was still growing at that time, and that they're not just like a closed-off group, and that they're pretty public about their existence too, I bet. Because while Telmet personally invites Link, it doesn't seem like it's impossible for them to get a new member in,
Yeah, like one of the things that I always had playing games from the period, like from N64 through GameCube, obviously with the actual systems themselves, it was limited in the number of characters that you could put in a game. And even, as we're getting into more modern times where there's just tons of characters thrown at you in games, sometimes you lose narrative focus. But for me, like, it's a perfect number of characters, but it never in my mind was limited to just the characters that are presented to you. That's just part of the story. Right. There's always something else in my mind that was going on in addition to characters like that.
Of course, that's what you're supposed to do. Like,
you're supposed to build a narrative with yourself as you play.
In video games, how sometimes you leave an area and you come back and something like has changed?
Yeah, exactly.
You're supposed to, that's the point of the show right now, is to say, hey, what happened here in the meantime? Maybe the Resistance found Russell battling some monsters in Hyrule Field and said, you seem like a worthy soldier. And he was like, help me, I'm dying. And they're like, all right, come home, back to the bar. Telma will patch you up. Luis will lick your wounds, and we'll be all good to go. All right. Cats have healing powers like phoenixes.
Apparently.
So now we're going to start talking about what their plan was. Like, what was their plan? We had some theories come in. Smart Devin says, I think that the Resistance is just one step ahead of Link. They're trying to fight the Twilight, so when you go and find them, they're like already on the trail of these mirror pieces, like a step before Link. Is that possible?
It certainly could be. I mean, you get the impression like that throughout the game because, there's always things happening and you get clues from them and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Slowpoke, as a gamer, expands on that idea and says, their plan was likely to overthrow the Twilight and take back Hyrule. They knew, or Twilight, I'm sorry, Hyrule Warriors. They knew that they need the mirror to send them back, though, and they knew that there was a Sword of Evil's Bane, which would likely be useful. But Captain Trina steps in and says, whoa. Aru mentions the mirror, but never makes any indication that he thinks it was actually broken. So the question is raised that it wasn't really expanded upon too much inside the chat, that do they even know that the mirror is broken at all?
No, they probably don't have special knowledge of it. It's probably all... That's the purpose of investigating, is because it's a thing of legend. It's a thing, and they don't have exact knowledge of it, right?
Yeah. Well, not to mention it's on the top of Arbiter's grounds, which despite you defeating Stalford and getting rid of him, there's still Redeads and Stalfo and it's creepy crawly creatures of the night just like all over that place. It's like. They got 5 people. I mean,
so yeah, they're probably
ground and get all the way up there.
They're making it up as they go along.
Yeah, like, do they know the Mirror Twilight is broken? Only like Link can just teleport there, but they can't. I mean, they did do work, so maybe they did get to see it was broken, but there's nothing really as strong that says that they know it. Aru says, "Hey, there's a Mirror Twilight, and hey, that sounds pretty good. We should do that." However, they don't know that it's broken, or maybe they do. Maybe that's why they're investigating. I don't know if there was any in-game text that perhaps can support that, but that's where we're at. Yasutaru goes on to say about their adventures inside the Sacred Realm. Yasutaru says, I don't know about retrieving the Master Sword itself, but perhaps they were trying to at least secure the ancient entrance to the Temple of Time, a known location of power. I mean, that's very possible. Of course, Russell is obviously on to that lead, and he's like, I'm going to get in here. And Austin goes on to say, I thought they were in the Sacred Grove trying to discern the meaning of those statues. You know, the statues that hopped around. I mean, it's natural for them to, be like, what's up with this? But how could that relate to their plan, What do you think?
I honestly don't know. That's just one of those things where it's like it's hard to see the connection.
Yeah, because they obviously can't just be going after the Master Sword. They're like, Shad, you're up, Master Sword.
Go!
they each just take a...
Oh, no, he failed. All right, next!
and you know what? They're actually made of evil, so they touch it like, I'm going to pull out the Master... Yep, they just dissipate on an instant touch.
Blit.
and they go through everybody, and then Luis touches in.
Oh my gosh, the cat's just like clinging to it.
Luis evolves into Professor McGonagall, holds it aloft. I got some fan fiction to write later. Professor McGonagall is the new hero of time. He's living in secret throughout the events of Twilight Princess as Luis the cat.
This is something I can support.
And Dumbledore is Telma. All right, let's move right along.
Oh, God.
Just a beard. Sorry, it's made a
You can't see the epic hand motions that we're doing to go along with these sound effects.
A little bit vulgar. All right, now let's move on. Sorry, we were just imagining Telma evolving into Dumbledore. Let's move along. Yasutaru brings us into our final little discussion here. There's one thing that we know. The members of the Resistance know their history. Anything bad that happens in Hyrule will eventually reach the castle, so their plan to infiltrate the castle at the end of the game was probably pre-planned in case anything goes bad, because they did get into the castle. Mm-hmm. They did do militaristic action. They got in there, and they were taking out enemies. And they said, we'll take care of things. Go on, go do what you need to do, We'll cover everything here. And it's very possible that throughout this entire game, they've been gathering information from these areas to assault the enemy later. Both FRKGR354, I don't know how to pronounce that, said that, and Giovanni Vonal said maybe they were planning attack. And it's all very possible that maybe when they're going to these areas, maybe they're trying to raise an army.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I mentioned to you earlier, is like, even though Hyrule Warriors isn't really canon, it's like, it's really cool to see the army of Hyrule in action, and stuff like that, because it's like, it's one of those things where you logically think about it, it's like, okay, Link can't be the only person ever running around and doing anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, and while they have a nice solid group of 5, 6, if you count the cat, I mean, they're doing work, and they're out there. Maybe they're trying to get some more people to lead this charge on the castle. Maybe they're just there trying to go find these Mirror Twilight pieces. Maybe they're trying to do blah blah blah. We don't really know what their plan is. That's why we're doing theories. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank the chat for everything that they've done, and thank you, Scott, for helping me expand on these. I hope you guys have formed some theories of your own, got some ideas of flowing. We're gonna listen to a little bit of music, and we're gonna wrap up tonight's show in just a few. All right, enjoy this wonderful song from the Happy Fun Time Game Band. Be back in just a few. My good friends, to the wonderful Hyrule Academy, where we talk about Zelda lore and fan theories and apparently Hogwarts fan fiction galore. And we have a lot of fun with it too, right, Scott?
And Papa John's fan fiction.
Papa John's fan fiction.
You were graced with the lovely image of Peyton Manning in Link's costume, and
that's only possible every Friday,
right here on Radio Hyrule.
Listen. Okay. Please. We've had a lot of wonderful opinions shared tonight. That music you were just listening to, though, however, was Forest Haven by the Happy Fun Time Game Band. Crazy, wacky stuff that they do, and I love it. I love it so much.
Good stuff.
Now, we had a lot of discussion about the Resistance, and overall, the big thing that we've kind of agreed on, there's a growing, accepting band of people who kind of work to restore peace. We see Russell get accepted, Link gets accepted, and they're led by Telma and Luis. Would you like to give a little bit of a fun fact, Scott? I know you were mentioning how you wanted to say this.
Yes, so it is definitely a shout out to the real world Thelma and Louise. That the characters' names were Telma and Louise. So there you go.
There you go. There's your fun fact of the day. In case you didn't know, now you feel more knowledgeable. I hope that's a good thing for you.
You have been educated.
You have been educated by Scott.
I am a public school teacher.
So there you go.
I took today off to be here. I'm excellent.
That is what I like to call a right decision. Because here at Hyrule Academy, we provide 0 credits. I don't give credit. Tying it all into Zelda CD. Yeah, that's how I like to do things. Anyways, the Resistance plan things out intensely. They're doing the work when you first arrive, and later on, we see them spread out throughout Hyrule. Are they trying to raise an army? Are they trying to find these mirror shards? We don't know. Who knows what they do? But we got some theories shared tonight, and there was some good discussion overall. I was very happy with what was said. Don't you agree, Mr. Scott?
Yes, I thought it was quite good, and we discussed some. What are you laughing about?
It was quite good. It was quite good.
It was quite good. Yes. No, it's always fun to talk about stuff like that. I always enjoy like the secondary characters in the Legend of Zelda series and the lore behind them, especially when they're like actively involved in the main quest. I think that's really fun.
It is absolutely super, and I think that having characters like this is fun. But there's also some great characters in Zelda that are evil, and sometimes they're not always they're the main bad guy technically, but and for example, one of them goes by the name of Yuga.
Yes.
Have you heard about this guy named Yuga?
I may have once or twice.
And yes, he is a guy. This is knowledge.
This is established.
This is canon. I as your professor, I can bring you this knowledge exclusively. I've done the research. Okay, now moving swiftly along. We're going to be talking about Yuga next week, Friday at 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, right here on RadioHyrule.com. And if you want to support the show and all other shows that we do here on the station, go ahead and donate. Throw in a few rupees into the pot at RadioHyrule.com/donate. Also, if you want to suggest some songs for maybe next week, go ahead and email me, mc@supermcgamer.com, with any requests. I've said a lot of times.
Requests.
Rosalina. Anyways, some hype. I got some hype, Scott.
Are you guys ready?
Are you guys ready for this?
It's coming straight to your faces.
Yes, we're happy.
Very soon.
We're happy to announce it that the Zeldathon is coming very soon. We're going to have a announcement trailer coming out live on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/SuperMCGame, in 1 hour from this live radio show. So if you're listening in, go open up that Twitch page. You want to have that open for when we go live in a little bit. And we got some excellent announcements coming to you, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that, though, until then. So get hype, everybody. I'm
excited. I want to see what the community thinks of the trailer, because I've seen the trailer a few times now, and it is excellent.
Yeah, it only took 39 and a half hours.
It's okay. It's apparent. It shows. It's very good.
Good,
high quality. Good quality stuff.
You know what's good quality? Tonight's show.
Absolutely. I think it was the best.
I don't know about the best, but we talked about Papa John's. It was the best. All right. So, to leave you off tonight, we have Yuga's theme from the Milk Bar. Thank you to Scott.
Yes, thank you, MC, for having me. If you guys want to check out some of my stuff, you can follow me on Twitter at GreatScottLP, and it's youtube.com/GreatScottLP.
Well said. Thank you all for tuning in to Hyrule Academy. Check you guys out next week, or something like that. Triforces.